Boss of Blades.
Hello YouTubes, and we are doing a video about the Severus Snape Echo that we've been using in duels that we are now going to be using in top wizard duels as well. Snape actually got buffed in the recent patch, which is obscure, but okay. So this is the actual build that we have, and we're going to go here first. You can see we have Orb of Water gets +1, Atmospheric Charm gets +2, McGonagall gets +2, Confringo gets +1, mtga gets +1, Inflatus gets +1, Obscurus +2, Incendio +2. So everything in our deck was all of these cards, which worked really well, but we realized that we wanted to replace mtga, so we did. And of course we also have Time Turner, but we didn't actually have Time Turner buffed here as well, so it's stuck at level 9 because we need another card for it. So we of course have the absurdly strong Obscurus, launches 6 rapid hits, and then it can potentially deal a 7th hit, and it just deals a crazy amount of damage, and all of it's considered basic attacks, which means that it is actually using Septum Sempra hits, thanks to Snape's ability, which says it turns all of our basic attacks into enhanced basic attacks, and he'll frequently cast Septum Sempra at enemies, which is very powerful. Then we of course have Time Turner, which will create our future self. It gets all of our bonuses, so that means it will also frequently cast Septum Sempra, and it does 50% basic damage, which is fine, versus 100 damage, but it can't be hit by something called legilimancy or whatever. It's basically just not as good version of Obscurus, but it's still very powerful. Orb of Water, it's just a straight DPS. It puts all our enemies together, which is very strong with the Snape ability of Septum Sempra and Confringo, and enemies cannot actually move while they're in the orb, and that's very powerful, and your opponent cannot disrupt it using control cards. So it just is a very good answer for DPS and keeping our opponent in place, so we have easier time targeting them with our ranged attacks, such as of course Incendio, arguably one of the best epics in the whole game, probably one of the best cards to just upgrade in general. It just does large amount of damage. The closer the enemy is to the center, the more damage they take. It can just do a crazy amount of damage very, very fast, and also is really good against groups of enemies. Then we have our control spell, which is Inflatus. It will reduce our enemy's levitation time, unfortunately, if they're in PvP, but it controls them for a decent amount of time. It's about 4 seconds, so it'll be about 3.4 seconds, and it makes them midair, so they can't move and they can't cast anything for that whole time, and it actually does a pretty decent amount of damage and has crazy range. Now we are actually running Septum Sempra as well, so it will lacerate our enemies and bounce between enemies, and it's just overall another way to do AoE. Though it is 1 cost less than Confringo, it can hit a large amount of enemies, but you have to also target it and your opponents can dodge. Then we have Atmospheric Charm, arguably one of the best rares. It will apply a heal reduction, so it's good against like Neville, and it just does a decent amount of damage to random enemies within the range that it strikes, and it hits for land and air and a whole bunch of stuff. Heal reduction -60 is part of the thing that's really big, and that is good for countering the Neville deck that a lot of people seem to be running now. Then we have another really powerful AoE, Confringo, which just hits an enemy, bounces to another enemy, and just does it a whole bunch of times, 7 times in total, and just does a crazy amount of AoE damage. So it's very powerful and can really good for crowd control, which we don't have any problem doing, but we also just get the +1 on the level, and it's just really, really good for the big crowds. Now, the overall cost of this deck is 4.5, which feels really high, but a lot of our answers here are just control spells and things to deal with our enemies having big boards. We're pretty content just waiting for our opponent to do stuff and then reacting. And then Obscurus can just, of course, take a crazy amount of damage off our opponents, especially when it will continuously cast Septum Sempra a lot of the time, thanks to Snape's ability. So without further ado, let's go and check out some of the duels that I did.
Bombastic bomb! Spiders! I'll patch you up!
Sectum Sempra!
Alright everyone, we're in this together now! Keep going, you've got this! Tebow's assault! Centaur! How you play wizard's chess? Monster book! Bombastic bomb! Tebow's assault! Spiders! Thunderbird!
Atmosphere charm!
Centaur!
Inflated!
Now you're in trouble. Mythic!
Sectum Sempra!
I'll get you for this.
Incendio!
Fantastic bomb! Monster book!
Obscurus!
Spike!
Atmosphere charm!
Tebow's assault!
Inflated!
Acromantula venom!
Time turner!
Centaur!
Don't worry, I'll handle this.
Monster book!
Sectum Sempra! That did not go how I thought it would.
Tebow's assault!
Obscurus!
Antipodian Emperor!
Orb of water! Time turner!
Alright everyone, we're in this together now!
Inflatus!
Potato totality! I'm done for.
Crucio!
Incendio! Orb of water!
Phoenix! There goes nothing.
Sectum Sempra! Inflated!
Obscurus!
Time turner! Just another spell. Oh, this isn't what the book said. Sectum Sempra.
Potato total.
Shall we begin? Pugno!
Time turner.
Time turner!
All right, everyone. We're in this together now.
Obscurus.
Atmosphere charm.
Good for me. Good luck.
Pugno!
Just another exam.
Confringo. Inflatus.
Oh, this isn't what the book said.
There goes nothing.
Atmosphere charm.
Obscurus.
Obscurus!
Incendio.
A Pugno! Orb of water.
Gas up, fool me, so I put my mask on. Keep the two of me, gotta keep the night high. Flexing Louis V, yeah, keep my cash on. Sticking true to me, I never had a gas off. I'ma pop off, yeah, I said I'll pop off.